So apparently my parents talk about a lot of heavy stuff on their podcast. Listen at your own discretion. Like, comment, subscribe, and share or whatever. Anyways, welcome to Sobriety.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm Ryan. This is Jess. We are sober as fuck. Before we get to today's guest, we want to remind everybody to make sure you check us out at safpodcast.com. Please make sure you like, subscribe, comment,
share
the podcast. You can do all that from the website. There's merch on the website, blogs, coaching, you name it. Everything is at safpodcast.com.
All sorts of fun stuff.
And our monthly challenges.
And our Amazon storefront, so you can see what kind of weirdos we are and the shit that we buy on Amazon.
And all our guest books are on there as well, which we get a lot of messages about. So they're all
on the Amazon storefront.
Yes.
And I have new merch. We have a new logo, and we have a new hat, and all sorts of fun stuff. Check it out.
A lot of cool
I worked
shit.
really
Check
hard on it.
You did work hard.
So buy it.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I don't care. I mean, I do care, but you don't have to buy it if you don't want to.
That's
anyways.
Right. So who do we have today, Jess?
So today we have Tony Alexander. And if anyone remembers Michelle, she was like, I think one of, if not the, I have to go back and look, like first guests on this season.
Yeah, season 3. Yeah.
And Tony is Michelle's sponsor. He has been sober for about 7.5 years. Michelle just like, I remember she was like sending me, she's like, you got to get Tony on. You got to get Tony on. He's amazing. You got to get Tony on. Have you gotten Tony on yet? When is Tony on? And I was like, geez, Louise, I'm doing it. I'm working on it.
That's right. Now's the time.
I know. So he comes very highly recommended. He also knows my brother.
Yep.
So even though I've never met him, I don't consider him a stranger.
Absolutely.
Because we're all in this together. You know.
That's right.
So I'm really excited about today. I can't wait to hear his story. 7.5 years is a really long time.
That's right. Looking forward to it. Please welcome to the show, Tony Alexander.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Tony.
Hi. How y'all doing?
Doing good.
Good.
We're finally glad you joined the show.
I was going to say, I'm not exaggerating. Michelle is like, Tony. I was like, okay, I'm working on it. Relax. We love Michelle.
I just sent her a message. I said, I'm about to record.
That's right.
Yeah. I just sent it to her just now.
Her episode was really great. So I know that your story is going to be fantastic. Because anybody who Michelle loves and admires, so do I.
Yeah, she's a cool lady. I like her. I love her a lot.
She is cool. Yes, she is very good. Cool.
Well, first off, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Yes.
Finally, we appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But give us a little backstory to up until 7.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what kind of changed your relationship with everything and got you sober.
Oh, let's see. Wow, backstory. It's the
You can go far back as you want.
It's the backstory of it all.
He's like, I was born on.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, right.
It was a cold, stormy night.
I was born in the 70s, so I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Born in the 74. Grew up on the north side of town, which is where most of all the Black people lived. We all lived most of everybody, my whole family lives out on the north side of town, so that's where I grew up. I realized early on that I was different from everybody else. I realized that, like, it's weird when people say that I would choose this lifestyle, but I knew I was different from everybody. Like at 3 and 4 years old,
Wow.
like I knew. I knew. Like not that I knew that I liked boys, but I just knew that I was different, if you will. Like I knew it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and everybody could see it, and everybody would make mention of it to my family or my mom. You know, like your parents know, they just like, they deny it, if you will. You know, so like I knew I was different from like a young kid. but my parents were divorced very, very young. My father was he smoked a lot of weed when I was a kid, and I used to be sick all the time. And my grandmother would come over and nurse me back to health whenever I would get sick, and she'd be like, tell my mom, like, you got to get away from your dad. His dad is making him sick. Because I think I had diarrhea all the time or something. And every time
Yeah.
she would take me home with her and take care of me. And then she would bring me back to them, and I would get sick again, and I would have diarrhea again. And so she finally just told my mom that she needed to get away from him. And right around that time, that's when they broke up. So like they divorced when I was like 1 or 2. So they divorced like really, really young. My family was so loving. I had the best family. They're like the most loving people ever. My mother, of course, she's like, I have a mama bear, if you will. I don't know if anybody know about anything about a mama bear, but I have a mama
Oh
bear.
yeah. I had one and I am one, so
Yeah.
I get it.
So you get it, right? So I had a mama bear, and like she's very much always want to need to know who I'm with. Like I had one of those kind of families. If I wanted to go do something, she needed to know who their people were. Like who is their mom, who is their grandma, who is the dad. Do I know the family? Like because like that's Tulsa's kind of like a small town. It's not small, but it's small, and like they needed to know if they knew their people. Like, and my grandparents were the same way, right? If I went over to my grandparents' house and I wanted to go do something, they needed to know who they were, who their people were. And even like that, I couldn't like just have friends come honk the horn. My grandma would be like, don't no hoes live here. Tell them to come knock on the door.
I love that.
so like, yeah, like I could, and it's not just one side of my family. This is my other side of the family too. My dad's side of the family, they lived a bit farther north. And I used to like try to go hang out with my dad's side of the family because like I could go and be bad and rambunctious and be all the be the little roguish little kid I wanted to be. I can go hang out with them and then come back home to my other side of the family, be a little angel. So I started that little duality.
You had a little thing going on there. You had a
I'll go
system.
dad over here, and then I would come back to my other grandma's house and be like a really good kid, right?
That's hilarious.
This is how it was. My cousin, me and my cousin, we used to hang. We would go to my grandparents' house, my grandmother's house in the north side of town, and found this pack of cigarettes. And that's the first time I had a cigarette when I was 9. He was like 11. I think he's like 2. He's like 1 or 2 years older than me. He was like 11 or 10, and I was like 9. And I smoked my first cigarette and coughed and choked and all of the things that you do when you smoke your first cigarette. But then I got lightheaded, and I loved how that felt, the lightheadedness. So that was my first little hint with something making you feel a little bit different. It's at like 9, right? And then probably I'm thinking about my cousin, my favorite cousin. She lives here in town, and she was, I think I was 12. She was 17, and for whatever reason, she had a fake ID. I don't know how they went to the liquor store and they got liquor. Her and her best friend, they went to the liquor store, got liquor. I flew down from Tulsa to Dallas, and they went to the liquor store, got liquor, and I had my first drink with my favorite cousin. It was a White Russian.
Oh,
I know. Oh, yeah. Is that crazy?
it makes my stomach hurt.
Let's just talk about how it made me feel after that. My first drink, it just made me feel like I was timid before, but after I had my first drink, I wasn't so timid. Right? I would do what I wanted to do. I'd say what I wanted to say. I was pretty tipsy by the end of the night. I probably only had 1 or 2 drinks, but I was tipsy. I was really, really tipsy that night. And so like after that, I think I kind of chased that feeling after that, if you will. Being like insecure with my body and who I was as a person and all of those things. The alcohol kind of took that away. That took away the insecurities. I'm trying to think. where I am in my story. I'm like in my middle school, high school era, right? Because middle school is like where I had my first drink, but high school is where everything took off.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really a bad kid. I didn't really do a whole lot of drugs and stuff. Like I was involved with like the band and the choir and all kind of other things, and in the midst of me like being like a person who is in the community, LGBTQIA plus community, like, we just called it gay back then, right?
Mhm.
So I was just in that community, and or let's just say how what they used to call us back then. They used to call us sissy punks and fags back in the day. That was the words that they used back then. So that was something that I just didn't want to be called, right? And so like I was kind of like I hid for like a long time, but like everybody knew who I was. Like my whole family, like everybody, like how I am now and the way that I talk now. That's how I talked when I was a little kid. Like, so like for the fact that the fact that anybody would be surprised that I turned out to be gay, like just like baffles me that they were surprised by it. But people were really surprised, like, and hurt and all this kind of crazy shit. Like I thought that was just the craziest thing. Like you knew who I was, like at a little small age, but you're surprised that I'm turning out the way that I'm turning out. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, I can. When my brother told me I was in high school and I was like, okay, yeah, I know. Like, I have exams to go study for. Like, is that really why you like called 911? Like, I love you, but yep.
It's so weird that people had the visceral reactions that they had. I was just like, what in the hell?
Maybe it's because they were in denial. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's that old, like, don't ask, don't tell, right?
that's exactly
You
what
know? And now it's more, this is a good thing. It's more, even if you know, it's like, okay, well, you don't say anything because that's their story. You let them come out. And then when they come out, rather than being like, oh my God, you're like, wow, that's great. I'm so glad you're embracing that. So yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you, and I didn't want to interrupt, like not only being gay, but being born in the 70s, being a Black man, being in the South, like I mean,
all the things.
that's just compiling it, right? Because all of that stuff could be true, but if you're straight or if you're white, like all of that stuff was working against you. And I know that your community was primarily Black, but like, how was that received? Like when you said people were shocked, even though they knew, like your family specifically, were they supportive or were they more like, we don't talk about this?
Well, if I can just do a little rewind,
Yeah.
we were like very much churchy, going to church like a lot. So if you just think about being in the South and you're Black and you go to church all the time, right? And no matter what denomination of church we were, because we just switched denominations. We started off as Jehovah's Witnesses, right?
Started off strong.
Yes, oh gosh. I remember 4 and 5 years old going to the Kingdom Hall and doing all that stuff with my grandparents
Wow.
and my mom, and then moving on to like the Kojic church where they speak in tongues and do all that kind of stuff, and then moving churches and going around all around the town and the city, and no matter what church it was, the sermon was that if you're gay, you're going to hell, no matter what. So of course, anytime that subject came up, it was like a very uncomfortable feeling. Even kind of knowing that that's where you are, but you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that thing that you are. That was like a rough time. Even though, and I loved going to church. That was the crazy part. I liked going to church. Especially the older I got, because I started like singing in the choir and all that kind of stuff like that. And so like that made it like even more durable because I liked to sing at that time. And I loved going to church because I wanted to go sing in the choir with everybody else. And so like when I became a teenager, like that's what I started doing. I started singing in the choir when I became a teenager. And then that translated over into me moving into high school and getting involved with band and all that kind of stuff like that. So being received by my family, it wasn't so hard, but like my mom, she took it kind of hard, but it was weird the way she took it, because she was like, it was a whole like, well, I knew, because it always sounded like there were grown women calling you on the phone, but it would be my gay friends calling me on the phone. It's always these grown women calling you on the phone. I was trying to figure out what was going on, and blah 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 blah. And then she's like, "Well, don't you know you can go to hell?" Blah, 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 like it was very much, yeah. So like, if you will, but my grandmother, who I called her grandmommy. That's what we all called her, grandmommy. Um, she was like the most accepting person ever, and like she knew who I was going to be, and like she was like my biggest supporter. And like my mom was my supporter, right? But my grandmother was like my cheerleader, right? If you will, like anything I wanted to do, if I wanted to be in a play, if I wanted to dance, I love dancing too. So like if I had like a dance group that I wanted to be a part of, she would come support. So like she was like my biggest supporter of everything, and I didn't even have to tell her. Like she knew.
That's
She was like, yeah.
amazing.
And I never had to say anything to her because it's just what it was, right? My grandfather, on the other hand, it took a little minute for him to come around because he would say like mean shit. He would say stuff like, it's an exit, not an entrance. He would say shit like that. Or I think that was probably the meanest thing. Or he would say, don't you know when you were like 2 and 3, I used to kick you in your behind because you would be switching like your mama. And I didn't remember anything like that, but he would say stuff like that to me. But the crazy thing about it is I loved my grandfather. Like he was like an amazing guy. He was like, I would say like he was my hero coming up because like he took care of his family. He, even though he said mean things to me, I know he loved me because every time he saw me, he hugged on me and kissed on me. Like even as a grown man, he would grab me and kiss on me and hug on me. You know what I'm saying? So like I knew that my grandfather loved on me, even though he said mean things. And part of the reason he said mean things because he was drunk all the time.
There you go. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And it's not an excuse when I say this, but
yeah.
it's a product of the time
Yeah.
too. Like
Exactly.
it's just a prime example of how multiple things can exist at the same time. It wasn't okay. It's never been okay. But we can't deny that, that's how he was raised, probably beat into him, if you want to know the truth. I mean, that's how it was. My brother and I went to Baptist school for elementary school and Christian schools and middle school. So yeah, I know. I mean, our school was literally inside the Baptist church. So
See?
I get it.
Yeah. So like, it just is what it is at this point. Like when I was just trying to figure me out like all this time, like in middle school and high school, and it was awkward time, and I was just an awkward kid, right? Until high school, and then in high school is like I was really trying to find myself in high school, and like I said, I loved singing and I loved dancing, but because they didn't want me to be gay, like I had to have a sport. I had to do a sport too, right? Like I couldn't just be in the choir and I couldn't just be in the band, right? I had to like find a sport to play. So I everybody thought I was going to play basketball. No, that was awkward.
Why did they think that, Tony? Why would they make that assumption?
I was 6'2" and lanky, and like all the kids, like the even like the coaches, like in gym time, they would see me on and when you're in 9th grade and you would show up and in your gym shorts and stuff, and just tall, lanky kid, lanky arms, very awkward. When I say awkward, like I could run, but I didn't like running up, and I couldn't bounce the ball, and I could shoot, but that's about it. I could shoot the ball. For everything else, I was horrible at basketball. With the basketball coaches, every time they saw me, they want me to come try out for the basketball team, and I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, I know you're kind of awkward and you're kind of lanky, but I can work with that. And I was like, no, coach, I'm fine. I'm not going to do that. I'll go run track, right? And so I ran track for like a couple of years just to get my family off my back. Like I ran track so that I could do what I wanted to do, right? So I had to like do other things so that I could like actually do what I wanted to do. And like all this time, I'm not really talking about my dad, but my dad was the sweetest, coolest guy on the fucking planet. He was so cool. He was so laid back. And I think that's where I get my whole demeanor and everything, and my attitude when it comes to stuff. Like he was like the most chillest person ever, although he had his little run with alcohol and weed and cocaine. He had like a run with that too. right? And then later on in his life, like he found God and became a preacher and like all this kind of stuff like that. So like he turned his life around.
That's great.
Like in his 30s, he kind of just turned his life around. But yeah, like because I don't want to leave him out because he's part of my story, right? But like I said, I like hanging out with that side of my family, right? Because I got to do whatever I wanted to do when I went out. Except for when I was with my dad. My dad didn't play around. Like when it came to me, like he was very protective of me, and he even knew, but we just never talked about it. And he died before I got a chance to say, "Hey, Dad, you know I'm gay." You know, before I got a chance to do that. Like I hate that I never got a chance to share that with him. But I know he knew. But he loved on me anyway. And every time he see me, he was another man in my life that hugged on me and kissed on me, even when I became in my 20s and stuff like that. Like
That's awesome.
yeah. So like, just even though those things were happening, like they still, I had men around me that loved on me, and I think that was like probably the most important thing for me. Is having somebody that still loved on me no matter what. But yeah, so like, I'm in high school. I get in this program called Upward Bound, and then kind of get you ready for like what it's like to live on a college campus, and like you do like little outdoorsy type stuff, and you do like little classes, and you have like it's like you're on a what was it? There's a school called Rogers State College, and we lived in like a dorm throughout the summer, and we would take trips. Like that's my mother worked for American Airlines, and like I got to fly like everywhere. We went everywhere, right? But then I get to go on trips with like some kids, like my age, teenagers, and some some adult chaperones, and like that was really cool. Like getting to go and do stuff like that, and then that was where I started drinking because I was away from home and everybody was like sneaking bottles in. You know how teenagers are. They're sneaking in with the whiskey and the vodka and some even were smoking weed, and I just like that's taking it too far for me. Like I never wanted to do that, but I would sip a drink. I would drink, right? And even I could do it because like growing up, like I had I had hair back then, right? And then and then like where I lived in the hood, like if I could get away with going into the little convenience store and buying weed and not weed, but like bottles of Wild Hours Rose or Mad Dog 2020 or stuff like that, like Old English beer or like Coke 45 back then. Like I can go into the store and buy that beer because like then they would never card me, but they probably should have because I still look young, even if I had a mustache and a goatee. Like I still look young. I know.
Different times.
Yeah, it was just a different time. They just would not ask for an ID. Like some people would try to go in and get it and they couldn't, and then I would go in and I could always get it. And I guess maybe because the guys knew me there, I don't know. But yeah, I could go in and get alcohol when I was 16, 17. I could go into the place and get alcohol. And it's not like it was something that I was always doing, but when I wanted to do it, I would do it. And then when I would do it, like I wouldn't get blackout, but I would get pretty wasted. But like all this time, like even in school, like I feel like I was just an average student. Like I just never like really tried really, really hard, like made some B's and C's. Like that's kind of how I was. I went to college, going off to college. And my college is where I like really found myself and really just came into being who I am. Right. Like my the end of my freshman year, like is when I officially came out. It's one of those years. Freshman, I don't know, sophomore year, my second year, I don't know. One of those years I officially came out. I'd already been telling like my cousins and like other people, but like I didn't tell my mom till I was turned 19. And the way my mom found out, I came home from college. We went to like I told you, I went to church. Like I still love going to church to this day. There was like a musical, like all these different choirs from around the city were showing up. And so I came home for a weekend to go to that. And then I went back home and I didn't realize that it was at a church that I went to when I was younger. So like all the people when I walked into the church, they knew who I was when I walked in. And then I was with my friends who were gay. And like they were like known in the community to be gay, which I didn't care because they were my friends. Like, and that's the person I was. Like, I didn't care where you were. I didn't care how you dressed. I didn't care how you looked. And I'm still that way to this day. Like, if you're my friend, you're my friend. And when we hang out, we gonna hang out. And I'm not gonna care about nothing. We friends and we hanging out. And so we went to church, and of course they all called my mother. All the people from church. Oh, he's with these known homosexuals. Blah 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 blah. He must be gay. Blah blah blah. So my mother calls me. I get back home. My mother calls, and she's asking me all these questions, and I was just like, I'm really surprised that you're surprised that I'm gay. Like, okay, yeah, sure, I'm gay. All right, it was like,
Yeah.
that's how it came out. You're right. And then of course she says the whole, don't you know you can get AIDS and die? Don't you know you can go to hell? Blah 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 blah. Like all those things, came out afterwards, and I'm pretty sure like she probably doesn't remember it because it was like a long time ago, like over 30 years ago. When it happened, I'm 52. I'll be 52. So it happened when I was 19. So like that's a long time ago, and I'm sure she doesn't remember it. But it happened, and it's something that I'll never forget. But it is what it is. But what that did was it kind of like it's kind of severed my relationship with my mother for a little while because she did have a little bit of a hold on me, and it was a lot. Like she had a hold on me. It's like I said, when I had a mama bear, she was a mama bear, and so like I couldn't wait to get away and go to college because I needed the freedom and all the things. And so like when I went to college, like that's when I got all my freedom and I figured me out. Like I remember the summer right before I went to college, I stayed out all night for the first time, right? And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get in fucking trouble. Like, oh shit. I was calling my cousin. I was like, cuz, just tell mom I was over your place because I know she's gonna call you. And I got home, and like they had stayed out all night at like a overnight vacation Bible school camp thing, whatever. Her and my sister, and I came in, and then they came in. Like they came in right behind me, and I was like, "Oh," she's like, "Oh, you grown now." Yeah, that was her. Oh, you grown now, and I was just like, "No, I'm not grown, but I am about to go to college." It's kind of how I looked at it. I am about to go to school though, so grown or not, I'm leaving in about a month. So why are you being surprised right now? And here's the crazy thing about it is my mother got married at 17 to my dad. Like, so don't be surprised that at 18 I am trying to like explore and being a grown ass person like in this world. Like, why are you just acting like that? Right? So that's weird, but it is what it is, right? Parents. But college is, like I said, is where I found myself. I like I really, really found myself. Those first couple years was kind of weird. I was in like a weird space, got an earring, and I had this, like the hairstyle I had was like a box fade, and I had like a little ducktail, and it went all the way down the middle of my back. And when I got to college, I cut all that off, and I got me an earring, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm being rebellious because I got an earring now."
I love it. I can envision it in my head. I can see everything you're saying in my
Like
head.
I'm so seriously was like, I am being rebellious. I'm gonna do what the hell I want to do. And so like that's when like everything took off. Like I wasn't drinking all the time, but when it was offered, I took it. Like I started smoking weed. I wasn't smoking weed all the time, but when it was there, I did it. I partied. I went to class. I pledged a fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, a black fraternity, historically black fraternity. It's been around since 1911. I pledged them, and then there was like a accident, a really bad accident happened, and they couldn't have taken any more pledges, and then a year passed away, and then everybody I pledged under graduated and left, and it was just me left by myself. So it's like my identity kind of left because I hung out with those guys all the time, and then I was just like, what the hell am I gonna do now? But in the meantime, like I started like hanging out with the gay people on campus, and like that's where I found like my tribe. I found my people, on campus, joining like the choral groups and joining the dance company, joining like anything that had anything to do with music or being a show, being on stage. Like I did all that, and the thing about that is, during that time, I had my first sexual experience with a woman, and I had my first sexual experience with a guy. Like at the
Whoa.
same time.
I wasn't expecting the woman.
Yeah.
The guy, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
wow.
First sexual experiences in that time, like after I came out, like that's when I had my first experiences with both, and that just kind of solidified like what I really liked. Right. I tried it, not my thing. I tried it, that was my thing. And and it's weird that that's how it happened, but I had to figure it out. I had to find out for myself. Right. And so I did. But like I said, I found my tribe. I found my people, and it was like, how you find people that accept you for like no matter what. Like that's what I found at NSU, and like I think about like in my mind, I can think about like all those people, John and Robbie and James and all the Amy's and oh my God, and Brad, and like I just think about I can probably name off all those people to this day, where that just made me feel so comfortable in my skin. Robbie, he was like a big part of that. They made me feel so comfortable in my skin. Robbie did drag, and like we used to go and be backup dancers for him and like a couple other drag queens around the town. And so like it was like the coolest experience for me. And like that's when I like totally came out and was like just who I was, right? And in the meantime, like I was even gay bashed at one point, hanging out at a bar. Me and my friend, we were at the bar together, and like we just used to go to the bar and just have a drink and get drunk every now and then, and went to use the restroom, and there was like a guy and it's like we're in a country town, right? And the bathroom is probably like this, really really small, smaller than the space I'm in right now. Little trough thing in the back, and then like a toilet and a sink, and then that's how small it was. So like when you go to the bathroom with other people, it's like, okay, don't look, don't like straight ahead. And I never ever did anything like that. And so like in that time, like yeah, I can't remember what I said. All I know is when I turned around to look at, because he said something to me, and I turned around and looked, and then he elbowed me in the nose, right? And so broke my nose, and all these people, once I came out, like I had a whole bunch of friends there. So like by the time after that happened, like all my friends ran to me, and I was like, that dude over there, he just like hit me in my nose, and I don't know why he hit me in my nose. And then all those people like ran up on him and was about to like kick his ass and stuff. And like the police showed up, and like the police had to save him from the people. And then they made me, I was like, they're gonna take him to jail or what, because he like hit me or whatever. They was like, well, you have to do like a citizen's arrest. So I did that shit, and then I had to go to court and all that bullshit. It was crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, my mom came down, and my grandfather came down for that, right? So for it, and I remember my grandfather said, "I just love the way you handle yourself, baby." See, he called me baby or sugar. You know what I'm saying? So like, how are you surprised that I am gay?
Yeah.
My grandpa still calls me baby and sugar in my 20s. So.
And it's probably a lot out of fear too. In their minds, they love you, and they're thinking, and your life is going to be so hard. And being gay in the 90s too, I was thinking about that a minute ago. Like that's scary.
Yeah,
and I think
all those things are happening.
Yeah, and even to this day, it's specifically Black women, but HIV kills more people of color than anyone else, and it's still highly like Black women and that's a whole conversation for another day. But medical distrust.
Yeah.
So being in the thick of it in the 90s, like,
can you just only imagine, like, and I know that's why my family was like nervous for me and scared for me because of everything that was going on, and in the process, like I'm finding myself, I'm coming out, and I have all these friends, right? And I have like a chosen family back home in Tulsa, a gay community, a small gay community of people that I hung out with in Tulsa, Black and gay, and literally all of them basically had HIV, like literally all of them, and none of them are here to this day. They're like all gone. They all passed away back in the early 90s. On that, like it was a scary time to even just come out and even say that you were gay. It was a scary time. Even when somebody said that, hey, I have HIV, Like it was like one of the scariest times ever, right? To even just be. And so like it was, was not the easiest thing, right?
I can't imagine.
It was pretty scary.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like it is what it is, right? So I'm still here, thank God. But yeah, like college happens, right? I finished college. I get a degree in education, Bachelor of Science in Education. Ask me how I became a teacher and why. I don't fucking know why, because I fucking hated it. I fucking hated every last year that I taught school. I hated it.
I couldn't do it.
Oh my God. It was like the worst thing ever. It was the worst thing ever. I hated every minute of it. But it is what it is, right? Came here. I finished school in 1998. That's when I graduated college, because I was just trying to figure it out. So my first 2 or 3 years, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. And by the end of my third year, I was like, maybe I could be a teacher. And I was like, I don't know. And then one of my friends was like, yeah, just go take some classes and see if you like it. And I took some classes and I really didn't like it, but I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. So I just kept on taking classes to become a teacher. And that's how I became a teacher. And then moved to Dallas after graduation, and got a job working at a few schools out in Pleasant Grove. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
I bet.
It was just a total night. And teaching, and you have that, teachers are special people. They are really special people. And you have to have a love for it and a passion for it in order for the kids to be successful, right? And I found that I didn't have either one my first week teaching. Like I found out immediately. I was like, no, this shit ain't for me, right? But I taught anyway. I taught for like from 98. I started teaching in 1998, and by 2002 is when I got my own diagnosis with HIV. And so like back then it was like, oh shit, what do I do? Keep teaching so that I can start taking my medication, so that I can take care of myself, so that I can do all these things. So I started teaching, but I had like a huge resentment because I had to teach. And so like I fucking hated it. And it got worse. And every year it got worse and worse and worse. No matter what school I taught at, I just hated it. Right. Even moving cities, like I left here and moved to Austin, hated it. Moved to Atlanta, hated it. Right. So I just didn't like it. Right?
That had to wear on your mental health a lot too. I mean, you get that diagnosis and that on top of it. That had to, I mean, I'm sure you were fucking miserable.
Fucking wear on you. Yeah.
I was totally miserable. And I don't know. My words are just, I hated it. I just hated every bit of it. And like I started, when I had to start taking like the medication, I started smoking weed heavily because the medication made my stomach queasy. And that's when I started smoking weed. It was like a summertime, and thankfully it was in the summer was when I first started taking my meds, because I could like feel all the sickness and whatever through the summer and go back to school and start teaching soon after that. And so like that's when I started really smoking weed. Like because I used to be like a socially, like when I started teaching, I would do everything socially. I wouldn't drink every night. I wouldn't smoke every night. It would be like a weekend thing. And then like once I started like taking medication and stuff, it became like an everyday thing, right? Because I just, like I said, I hated my job. And even at a point where I would show up to work that way, right? And like it was horrible, right? And I know that, right? And in the process, having partners and so-called partners and this and that, I won't get into that part of my life because it is what it is.
Well, and it's a spiral, right? Like that's how that happens. I mean, we've talked about this on previous podcasts. I mean, even like drinking and driving, or drinking and putting your kids in the car. We've talked about, parents having birthday parties for elementary school teacher or elementary school kids and having like an open bar. So, in the moment that line blurs and you convince yourself you're like, I'm fine. I mean, and really what it is though, but you were able to identify it faster is I'm fucking miserable. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to numb out and drown out everything in my life because everything sucks. Like for you, I get this diagnosis. My medication makes me feel like shit. I hate my job. My friends are dying. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I just don't care. I mean, that's a lot. That is a lot to deal with in like that amount of time.
In that amount of time. And then get this, not only did that, it was like there are like people dying, like my family. My family dying. Like my aunt, my dad's youngest sister, and then his mother, and then he died. So they all died back to back to back, like boom, boom, boom. My dad died when I was 25. 25? Yeah, 25 or 26. And we had lost contact. I had just got my diagnosis too, and he died when I was 26, and we had lost contact. And we had just like hooked, like I was like, where is my dad? I called like home to like my family back, his family, and I was like, where is my dad? Like, can you give him, here's my phone number in Texas, please give him my number. And then he called, and I was like, Dad, I'm coming, where are you at? And he was like, I'm in Houston. I was like, okay, this summer I'll be there. As soon as school is out, I'm coming down. And right before summer, like right when summer was starting in June, my dad passed away. Like he died from a heart attack. He had like 4 heart attacks, and like he had like, that was his 4th one, and it took him out. And I had a little, he had younger siblings. Like every time he had married, he like had kids, right? So his last wife, he had kids. His 3rd wife, he had kids. They had 3 kids with her, and so like when he died, they were like 5, 3, and 1. And they're in their 20s and 30s now, but they were like really, really young back then. That was a hard time because I really wanted to just reconnect with my pops, right? And so like that was a really, really rough time for me when he passed away, and I was like, this is horrible. And even having to go drive home to Texas and see him in the casket and all of that, like oh God, this is like that took me out like for a couple of days. It took me out.
Do you feel like that was around the time that you really started like drinking heavier and
Really
finding other drugs and things like that?
It's for sure. I for sure started kind of like my whole. I really started smoking weed a lot. That's when it picked up because like literally that whole side of my family smoked weed really, and so like that's all we did the whole time, that whole weekend of the funeral, and like I just carried that on to when I came back to Texas. Like that was just what I was doing, and even that like. And in the midst, like I said, in the midst of everything, like I've having partners, I'm having relationships, right? And like, every relationship I ever got into, I would never just choose me. Like they wanted to have some kind of open relationship with or whatever. And it was never like a relationship where like the person would actually choose that they want to be with me and only me. Right. And so like, that's when my drinking and using, smoking weed, like really picked up around that time. And I'm like I said, I'm moving, I'm going here, I'm moving there. I finally get to Atlanta, like in 2012, maybe 2011 is when I got to Atlanta. Started teaching again, hated it, of course. Going through the whole process, and then at one point I started having like these migraines, and I couldn't figure out why I was having migraines. And then one day I had to came back from, because I was almost out of school, work for like a month because like the migraines were that bad. If like the lights on here right now, like I couldn't handle the lights. Like I would get nauseous every time I would stand up. I would fall back down because migraines, like man, if you ever had any, man, like oh my gosh. And so
I take medicine every day for them.
Yeah, exactly. And so like,
when people look at you and they're like, "Oh my God, I have a migraine today," I'm like, if you can look at me in the face and say those words, it is not a migraine. Okay,
headache. This is a high headache.
That's just a headache.
Yeah, that's just a headache. But I had to come back to work because like I'd always taught and got a salary, and no matter whether I showed up to work or not, I would get paid, right? And then like the little charter school that I worked for like didn't pay me anything. So like there was a 1 month where I didn't make any money. So like I had to show up to work so that I could get paid, right? And I show up to work, can't really do anything. Everybody's looking at me like, come on, Miss Adeline, you got it, you got it. I was like, do you not know what's going on with me right now? Like I have fucking migraines. Like I can barely even walk down this hallway. Like the lights are killing me right now. You know, I'm about to throw up on your, get away from me. Like, so like this is like the adults talking to me, and I'm getting to my room, and my parents, like the crazy thing about it is anywhere I taught, anywhere I worked, like the parents always loved me, and I love the parents, and I love the kids too, but I just hated teaching. But the parents loved me too, and they loved on me. And like one of my parents, she brought me like Excedrin migraine, and I started taking it, and it actually worked, which is really weird that Excedrin migraine fucking worked, but it worked. And then, like a few weeks later, like I made the decision. I was like, I'm not fucking teaching no more. I'm done. And then that worked because it was like a relief off my shoulders because like I made the decision. I'm not fucking teaching no more. And then a few weeks later, like they didn't even offer me a job for the next year. And so that just solidified that I didn't want to teach anymore. And so like, it just like the migraines like went away, like within like 2 or 3 weeks, like they were gone because like I made these decisions, no more teaching. I don't like it. So why am I still going here? It's a stressful job. So like once I made that decision, like I've never gone back. Like I've tutored, right? But I haven't like been a teacher. And so like that just made it even better. And then like when I started like tutoring, and I was tutoring kids in 7th and 8th grade, and the stuff I was tutoring them in was stuff that they should have learned when they were like 2nd or 3rd or 4th grade, and those are the grades I taught. So it made me like, oh, these could be some of the kids that I taught, and what if they didn't get what they needed? So now I'm never going back to teaching. I ever want to teach again because like I could have been done these children a big disservice, and so like I'm never going back, and I haven't gone back since. But while I'm in Atlanta, like my best friend Marcus, he was there. He moved in. He's a big just drag queen. I loved him so. Like he was like my best friend, and he died while we were there.
Oh my gosh, Tony.
Yeah, he passed away while we were there, and like he was like my best friend, right? And what happened when he died, like we were at school. Like this is my last year teaching, by the way. We were at the school. He's in the hospital. It was testing time because you know there's always these tests. There's a test in every state, so it was testing time, and my phone was off. And I get this phone call. I got all these messages, and I'm like, what's going on? It's like 5 o'clock in the evening. I'm like, what's going on? And I get the message that he's passed away. And so I have to go up there to the hospital. And I just was hugging on him and kissing on him. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you're not here. I'm so sorry. I wasn't here when you passed away. Like that was rough. Now that was a rough one. Like I think I kind of lost my shit after that because that's when the meth started, right around that time, 2013. That's when like the meth use started because I was like at a place where it was like fuck it, and like I was like on apps or whatever and hooking up with people on the apps. Like my sexual activity ramped up and like all the things, like just trying to numb away the pain. And somebody brought some over, and I was just like, fuck it, why not? Like by this time I tried like ecstasy, and you know I'd probably tried cocaine by then, and of course weed and alcohol, and like so it's like fuck it, like why not? Like I don't like what do I have to lose? I'm not teaching anymore. I don't have any big responsibilities. Like fuck it, just try everything. And that's literally what I did. I was just trying everything. And at some point I just like Atlanta's not working out. I want to move back to Texas. Like after my first time I tried it, and I moved back to Texas, and then somebody who I just revered and I had a really good relationship with, he was smoking meth. And because the first time I smoked it, I couldn't figure out what the hell it was supposed to do. Like we were supposed to be hooking up with this guy, but his dick couldn't get hard. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is this? Why can't we even have sex or anything? And I was like, I was frustrated. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I get back to Texas, and I'm hanging out with somebody who I like really, really love. Like I probably was in love with this guy, and like really, really in love with him. And we did meth together, and then I figured out why people do meth together and have sex. Like I figured it out, and like I was hooked. Like after that, like I can't say like how they say it started off as weekend or occasional use, and it soon became daily use, and then it took over our lives. Like this guy right here, this.
Meth was my brother's favorite drug of choice too. You may know that, but it has a hook on people.
Yeah, and when it grabs you, and like there's nothing that you can do about it. You know, you got to like no matter how much you do. Like crazy thing is, I had a whole bunch of stuff that did not happen to me that could have happened to me, right? But like the meth, it just kind of just took off, and it went kind of crazy. Like I was working every day and showing up to work, and then I wasn't. I was showing up sober, then I wasn't, right? I had a job and then I didn't. So it was like, you know, and it didn't take very long for that to happen. Like probably about like 2016, like is when like everything started like to tank, right? And the meth use was like heightened, and like I think probably like 2017 is like when I had my like a real psychotic break. Thought the police were after me, like, you know, like meth heads do. We think the police are always after us. We thinking about we see shadow people because we've been up for 4 and 5 days. I probably had like 4 or 5 wrecks in my cars. I've had like 3 cars, and I wrecked every last one of them. All the things that meth addicts do, I was doing. The only thing that didn't happen to me was I didn't become homeless. I didn't end up in an insane asylum, and I didn't go to jail. I've never been to jail to this day, knock on wood. Right. So like those things didn't happen to me, but they could have. Right. So like I know that I'm blessed because of the yets that did not happen. And it could have been very, very I should have like charges. Like I should be like in prison for the things that I was doing, right? For the dealers. Like I should be in prison. When I sit back and think about like all the stuff I was doing just so that I can have as much meth as I wanted, or as much GSB as I wanted, or much coke as I wanted, or weed or whatever. Like all the stuff I was doing, like I should shit for trafficking. I should be in fucking prison. All this.
I'm listening to your story, and I'm like, yeah, this is very familiar to me. I mean, I lived in a meth house with my brother before I knew what it was. So like, yeah, I'm like, yep, that's so bad. I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty normal.
I totally
What's wrong with me? Oh my gosh. So what like prompted you to get sober?
Yeah,
like
what
that's
was your
lot.
what was your turning point?
My turning point, my grandmother passed away. She had dementia. And I knew she didn't know who I was when I saw her, but every time I would just see her and I would just get in her face and I would just smile, and she would just grab my face like this, and she would pat my face. She said, baby. And she would just pat my face. And whenever I would go home, and she passed away like the day before my birthday, she passed away.
Oh my gosh.
And then the funeral was like a week later, and like I just couldn't take it. And like that spiraled, and I went out of control. It spiraled. Like and this was like in 2018 when I got sober. So from July to September, like I was out of control, and I knew it. And I had tried it intravenously, and I could never do myself. And like I would always try to get people to do me, and anytime they would shoot me up, with like rubbing alcohol or peroxide. Sometimes somebody shot me up with bleach. Sometimes, and then somebody did like mouthwash. And like the way I knew that they were doing it is because you can taste it in your tongue, and that's how I knew. Like they were like getting over on me, and they were taking my drugs and going and using it on themselves, right? But the crazy part is like I still wanted to get the high that I had that first time, so I would still go back to them. And so like I don't know, I think I had a moment of clarity, and I was like, I probably need to go back to Homeward Bound. And I called. I sent a message. I didn't even call. I sent a message on Facebook to the guy that I knew that ran. His name was Grant. I sent him a message. I was like, hey, I think I need a bed. I need to come. And he was like, we don't have any beds right now. And I was like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do? Right. And then like probably like a week later, he hit me up. He said, we have a bed. Shit just got real. Are you ready? And I was like, hell Yes. Hell yes, I'm ready. And I said, give me a couple of days to pack my shit up and I'll be there. I'm living in a condo that my parents were taking care of and paying for me. And I just packed up a bunch of crap. When I went to storage to check it out like 5 years later, it was just a bunch of bullshit. And I just packed it all up and threw it in storage and went straight to Homeward Bound. And I remember when I got there, I'm probably like 245 or something right now. I got there, I was probably like 185, and I didn't think anything was wrong with it because I've always been 185, right? Even before I was doing meth, I was 185, but I looked a mess, right?
Yeah, you look at pictures and it's
Yeah,
like, oh
I
my
looked
gosh.
gaunt. My like everything, like I wasn't full in my face, like I was just really really skinny. I remember I walked in and I had like all these bags of clothes with me because that's all I wanted was my clothes from out of that place, and I had all my clothes, every ounce of clothing that I owned, I had them with me, these big ass suitcases. And I remember I dropped those suitcases and I did like this. I said, when I just looked up and I said, God, whatever you got for me, like I'm gonna take it and run with it. Kind of that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing ever since. It's like this,
Wow.
just kind of like listening for what God has for me and like letting Him take the wheel, right? I get to Homeward Bound and one of the first things I hear is like, you need to change everything. And I was like, okay, change everything. I wonder what that means, change everything. And then the very next week, like my first sponsor, Carlos, shows up. And I remember him, he had his little puppy with him, and like his sponsor that had 13 years sober had just went out, and like he was looking for sponsees, and he looked just as desperate as I did. And that's why I walked up to him and asked him to be my sponsor, because of the way his desperation and his sadness, and like I felt the same sadness and everything. So I walked up and I was, will you be my sponsor? And he was my sponsor, and he became my sponsor. And so like I called him every day, and I would call him and I would talk about what's going on in the damn Homeward Bound. And he would the first time I started talking about it, he made me go read page 60 in the big book. And it talks about like being the director and the playwright and all of this stuff. And he made me read that. And every time I saw he said, every time you see the word he, put your name. And so I would read it. And Tony is this, and Tony can be like this, and Tony can be like this, and Tony is this, and Tony can be like this, and Tony is this, and Tony can be like this. And I was like, oh fuck, I am in this book. I am all through this book. And that was the first time I actually saw myself in the big book, like was when he made me do that. And I was like, okay, maybe there's something to this book, right? And so like started reading the book, and we started working the steps. And by the time I left Homeward Bound, I'd already done my fourth and fifth step with him. And the icing on the cake for me to my sobriety has been moving into an Oxford house. I have been, I left Homeward Bound on November 27, 2018. I moved straight into the house where I live right now, Oxford House Pride. I've been here ever since then, and I haven't left. And like that has been the stamp on my recovery. Like I live around a bunch of other men who are just as bad off as me, struggling, and we live together and we hold each other accountable and we love on each other. We have created a family environment, something that I needed outside of my own family. Like it's crazy thing to say this. I fuck with them more than I fuck with my own family. I hate to say it like that, but it's true, right?
You need each other.
Yeah, it's just what it is. Like, and like I just have kind of like grown my community. Like the house before we moved to this house that we're in now. Let me back up. I interviewed at several Oxford houses, right? But when I showed up at the Pride House, I saw all these guys in there that were at the same meetings that I go to. And that's the reason why I chose this house to move into, because all the guys were tweakers like me at the time. They were all the same. They were tweakers like me. So I was like, I probably need to be around some people that like to do meth like I used to like to do meth. Because every last person, all the 7 or 8 other guys that were in the house doing the interview, I'd seen them all at a meeting, at the Crystal Meth Anonymous meeting. And so like, that's why I chose the house where I'm living. And I didn't have a car at first. And there was a meeting right on the corner. So like I could walk up to the stop sign and make maybe a 10-minute walk, and then I would be at an AA meeting, Dallas North AA, and that's where I got sober. I got sober at
Wow.
Dallas North AA. Like, talk about God moments, like showing up at Pride House and like I see some people that I know, and then having a meeting because I didn't have a car. I can go to a meeting 10 minutes away, get exactly what I need every single day. There's a meeting at 7, 12, and at 6 every single day. And there's a Sunday meeting that is like my favorite. 6, 10, 11, 12 meeting. This Sundays at 9:30. So like that was my meeting for like a long, long time. Like I would go there because I heard Spirit, Strength, and Hope. There were people there with like 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 years sober.
Wow.
Right. And so like that's what I needed. I needed to be around people who had some like really, really strong sobriety. Right. And like that kind of stuff rubbed off on me. Like it just rubbed off on me. Right. And like I became a service warrior for Oxford House. Like when I say service warrior, I was like doing everything. Like I don't know if many people know much about Oxford House. It is like a fucking huge community of sober livings. We are all over the country. There are more than 30,000 members in the United States. We have more than 4,100 houses all over the United States. So we have one in Australia and one in Ghana.
Wow.
If you don't know, I work for them now, so that's why I can talk about it like I talk about it, because I just started working for them. They saved my life. This place saved my life. That's all I can. I'll be forever indebted for what they have done for me. And then they've been after me for a long time to work for them. Like, but the money wasn't right, so that's why I was like, hell no, for like a long time, because the money just wasn't right. I worked for Walmart, right, for like a very long time. That's my sober gig, is working for Walmart, and I love like that job. Also, like my recovery, like in my sobriety, like I talked about it from the very first day I started working there, like with my managers and everything, and like they were like so supportive of me, and like, and I'm so glad that I found a job that like would support my recovery, right? And like they even anytime like we would have a schedule change or shift, or if I needed to change shifts, like we made it work. And then I worked in the HR department. I was a personnel guy. And then once I started working in there, like my recovery ramped up because I could work a certain amount of hours and I can go to whatever meeting afterwards, right? I had a car by that time and I can go to whatever meeting I wanted to go to after that. So like for me, like the things that they talk about that works for me is like meetings and fellowships, sponsorship and step work, service and commitments, like period. Like those things are what have worked for me. Like, and not that I get everything right, because I don't, and not that I don't fuck up sometimes, because I do. We're fucking humans, right? Living a human experience, and that's what we are. So like that's some shit that's gonna happen. Like I'm not going to get it right all the time, and that's what one of the things that I've learned is like you're not going to get it right all the time, but I'm okay with that. For me, it's about growing. Like, can I do something different than I did on the day before? Or am I going to continue to fuck up like I did yesterday? Right. And so like, sometimes I'm good at it. Sometimes I'm not. Right. But I'm not using. I kind of look at it like that, because I could totally be using. I don't know where else to go.
I'm just like, I'm enthralled. You need to write a book. Like,
So much more.
no, I love it.
Hey?
Well, we'll have to have you back on for a part 2, but you know, I listened to your story, and first of all, let me say thank you for sharing all of that. Right. And I say this about all of our guests, but to come on here, and I always say it's like you're literally standing in front of the world naked.
Yeah.
Right.
That vulnerable.
Like just naked on your worst day. And everybody's sitting and like looking at you, and it's not easy, right? It's not easy. No matter how long you've been sober, no matter how much of an open book you are, you know, talking about it takes you back to things. So I want to thank you for sharing your story, because it's so powerful. It's going to help so many people, especially people in the LGBTQIA plus, especially people of color in the LGBTQIA plus. You know, we talk about these things, sobriety, recovery, you know, being part of the LGBT community, but there are layers, right? There are layers. And even within those communities, there's a lot of judgment and a lot of criticism that isn't talked about, you know? So you like really touched on all of those things and just the things you've been through, Tony. And like I said, being like in the 90s and with your family and losing so many people, like it is so powerful that even throughout all of that, you're like, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
Like, I want to live. And let me say too, like, I've heard this phrase a million times, but it is your phrase now, and I love it. And it may be the title to this episode, but loving on me. I love how you like, but I mean, like, you've used that phrase so many times. And I can tell every time, like, you're so grateful to people who love, like, you're such a loving person. And I mean, like, we're besties now. Like, are you kidding? I mean, and I love that because when you say like loving on me, it's not just a physical thing. It's like people who like see me and accept me.
Exactly.
And just meet me where I'm at, right? Because you're right. Not every day is going to be, you're not always going to knock it out of the park. Some days you're going to wake up and you're like, everything is fucked up today.
Yeah.
There are days when I wake up, I'm a complete bitch. And that's when I know I need to stay
That's
in my
me
room.
every day. Okay. I have a 15-year-old daughter. I wake up and I'm like, are we choosing violence today? I just want to know. Okay.
There's so many times when I just wake up and I'm just like mean. I'm just like, oh gosh, what is wrong with me today? Let me like start my day over. Like say a little prayer real quick, and get grateful. Like there are many moments where I just have to stop doing everything. And I was like, did I get grateful today? Like, why am I acting like this? And it's like, okay, pull your phone out. Let's write a list. Come on, like get out of yourself today. Like what is wrong with you? Like, you have a life. Like you're not out there on the streets. You're not homeless. You're sober. Like, and you have a comfortable room and you live with some amazing guys. And so like, my life, like I keep saying, like my life is not like the greatest, but I love my life.
Listen, but like who defines what the greatest is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like by what standards?
Right.
The world's, I don't know if you've paid attention to the world.
It sounds to me like you're living your greatest life. It seems to me you're great. Paying everything forward and what you're doing now for Oxford House. I mean, that's
Oxford House,
brother, you're living it.
They're doing tons for me right now. Like it's only been like I literally just started working for them. Like I've worked for Walmart from December of 2018 up until like August of 2025. Like I worked for Walmart for that long. Really, I'm gonna say I actually worked up until December of 2025 is when I started working for Oxford House. For a little minute, I stopped. I worked for the Haven for like a month and discharged. And then Oxford House in the middle of that month came and they were like, well, hey, we got a spot for you. Do you want to take it? You're not even gonna have to move out of your area. You can take over the area where people already know you and like all these things. Like, talk about another God moment where I don't even have to move. Right. So like God always is doing stuff for me that I couldn't do for myself. Right.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm grateful just to be alive and just to be even in the job that I have right now and to be working for this amazing organization. And I cannot wait. We're about to have a documentary. It's to drop about Oxford House. And like, I am like totally grateful for the documentary alone, because it's like, I think it's going to just touch a lot of people. I hope it does. I'll make sure that you guys get an invite because I know that we have Oxford Houses in Tennessee and they're going to be debuting it there in Knoxville, Tennessee. I can almost guarantee that they're going to be debuting it there, and I can find out for you because like we're having world premieres all over the country, either on that last week of May or that first week of June, and like we're just going to be like having premieres all over the place. And so like, man.
Yes, please. And that's part of recovery too, right? You help people and some of it's self-serving because it makes you feel good, but like, that's what you want to do. You're like, I have all of this goodness. I want to share it. I mean, we started this podcast after he got sober and we're like, let's just do a podcast and just start talking about shit. Right.
Yeah.
And, it turned into this, and it's been incredible. And hearing everyone's stories, right? They're all so similar and so different at the same time.
So different, but get to the same
Well, it's just like self-loathing and hatred. It's a bottomless pit. You know, you get in this spiral of, like you said, you're like, fuck it. I mean, you finally quit teaching. You figured out the migraines. You're like, oh, I'm moving in the right direction. And then boom.
Something happens.
And you're like, why am I even? Yeah. Why am I even why am I even doing this? Fuck it. And you know, whether it's a rock bottom or whatever, I've heard everyone say, like, I don't know exactly what it was. I can't put my finger on it, but I woke up one day and I'm like, I don't want to live like this. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And you start showing up for yourself and opportunities present themselves, right? And when you show up for yourself, that's when things start showing up for you. And something else I heard in your story is, like, you are community based. You know, you're like your family and your friends. You know, my brother and I, you not so much. You had a little more of a borderline tumultuous, abusive sort of childhood. But, you know, my brother and I, our mom was, I mean, she always loved on us. I mean, we were her world. We were number one. Like, it didn't matter what age I was or where I was in life. If I called my mom and was like, can I come over? She would have had clean sheets on the bed, coffee made, my favorite movie, snacks. I mean, we could have been fighting and throwing down and whatever. And she would be like, come here, baby. And she would snuggle me and say, you don't ever sleep as good as you do when your babies are next to you. I mean, she was meant to be a mother. And I'm sure, I'm sure you probably know, but our mom passed away about 2 years ago. And so I know what that kind of love feels like, you know? And I love how you talk about the men in your life too. Like, you give them such grace, and we live in a world now. I mean, and it is good. I get it. Like, the pendulum swings back and forth where, you know, we have a tendency to be very strict and almost borderline judgmental to anyone who doesn't understand. I am open and loving of everyone, but I found that we also don't give allowance for people to know that we all live different experiences. Like, you the way you talk about the men in your family, you're like, I can understand why these judgments were here out of fear or how they were raised or whatever, but I can also hold space for the fact that they fucking loved me.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't the gay, it wasn't that, you know, the things they said, those things were never okay. And I recognize that, but I also recognize who they were as people, and maybe that their fear manifested in this other way. And that, you know, I love that you talked about, like, physical touch from men too. Like, we have you didn't get any physical touch as a child, like none. And so there are so many, especially men, who they're not used to being loved on. Right. And so they see that as being weak, or, you know, you're opening, like, you're still to this day, like, very hesitant with who you trust. Right.
Big time, yeah.
And so for you to have that environment, it's no surprise that you sought that out in your recovery too. Like, of course your home is your little family.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's what we do. I mean, it's great. When I visited my brother a few weeks ago, and we snuggled up in the bed together, you know what I mean? And that it was like we were kids again. I remember somebody called him from work, and he had taken the day off, and it was like 10 o'clock. And he's like, I'm just laying in bed. They're like, you're John Chapman laying in bed? And he's like, my sister's here, you know, like, when you're people. Yeah, like, my sister's here. And it made me feel so good, because it's like, yeah, like, that's how we grew up, like, loving and supporting each other. I don't know. Your story is just, it's so incredible. And like, I'll probably go back and listen to this episode so many times, because there's so many different layers to your story. I mean, it's just so powerful.
It's fine.
Huh? What'd you say?
All over the place.
No, but like, that's the whole point of our podcast is I don't want it to be structured or tailored to anything. I want you to tell your story the way you want it to be heard. I mean, Tony, this story is going to help so many people.
Yeah, and it is, for sure.
It's going to help so many people. And, you know, unfortunately don't have a lot of diversity on this podcast, the nature of it, right? And there's a whole other level to like distrust and, you know, different communities. So there's a huge space here for you. There's a huge group of people, and not just like people who are Black, like gay men, men in general, you know, who are not used to hearing other men talk about being loved on. I mean, I don't know. I could talk about this all day long. I mean, that's a whole episode for a whole other podcast, but like, I know so many people are going to listen to your episode and it's going to resonate. And I just want to thank you so much for sharing it. It's a beautiful story, and I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're sober.
I'm glad I'm sober. I'm glad I'm here. I've had a few moments over the last year or so where I've just kind of like have questioned everything. My best friend committed suicide last year.
Gosh, I'm so sorry.
I know I'm losing a lot of people, you know, but and that probably, like I said, like when I said I love on people, like I love on people, so like it was so devastating for me, but I didn't use, and I could have. That's what I think. I always think about, like, that could have probably taken me out, because like I was like devastated, and I don't think I've ever cried the way I've cried when he passed away, when he committed suicide. I was at work and I got the phone call, and I lost it at work, and I've never lost my shit at work, and I lost my shit at work. And because like we worked together, we hung out all the time. He used to live in this house, like all the things. And so like I just completely lost myself, and I didn't use. And I keep saying, like, there are so many things like you don't have to pick up. You don't. I think everybody just needs to realize that you don't have to pick up. Like that shit don't bother you until you bother it. Then sit back and think about it. It does not bother you until you go out and bother it. So like, all I can say is just continue to work on your spiritual connection, right? Because like it says in the book, like it is easy to let up on spiritual principles, you know. But once we start resting on our laurels, we're fucked.
I agree with that.
Once I start resting on my accolades, and
that's right.
So like, I'm just trying to work on myself every day, and like I was saying earlier, sometimes I get it right and sometimes I don't.
Well, I have one request for you before we move on to our final question. When next time I'm in Dallas, I have to meet you in person, and I want a hug, because I just get the feeling that you give amazing hugs.
Yeah.
So you just need to warn your friends. You're like, if some little white girl comes up to me and just starts hugging on me, okay, you've been warned. You've been warned. I'm like, I just have a feeling that Tony gives really good hugs, and I want one. So I'm getting consent now to come up and hug you randomly in the middle of the day.
Sure.
Okay.
For sure. You should tell John to call me.
I will. Are you kidding? I bully him around all the time. I'm his sister. I don't work for him. I'm his sister. I tell him what I want to do.
Right.
So, did you listen all the way through, like towards the end of Michelle's podcast, our question that we always ask everybody at the end? Oh, this is going to be fun. So, in the midst of all the seriousness and all the things that we do and all the trauma and everything we lose, we always like to tell people, you know, it's okay to laugh at yourself too, right? It's very serious, but if you take everything seriously all of the time, 24/7, like you will not make it. So we always ask people, tell us an old, hilarious, drunken or high story. It could involve you pissing yourself. That seems to be a fan favorite.
Or someone pissing.
Or falling. You know, anything at all. Something you look back on and it just makes you laugh.
Yeah, I have two, but I can name definitely one for sure. So I'm out on the strip with my Cedar Springs. When I say the strip, the Cedar Springs. I was out on Cedar Springs. This is before I started doing meth. Drinking a lot, drinking heavily. They used to have this cruising the crossroads where you can go to like these 4 different bars on the corner and you can get drinks for like $1.50, like little well drinks. Talking about tore up from the floor up. I was and I was with some of my friends, and like 2 of them did drag, and like we were like having a good time, and we were all dancing, doing routines and stuff out on the strip, like going up and down the strip. And so we stopped and we're like walking to the car. And of course I'm still dancing, and I'm dancing so hard that I like trip and I fall and I hit my face. Well, my friends didn't see me. I hopped up real quick and nobody ever, and they were like, bitch, did you just fall? And I was like, yes. And the way that they knew I fell is because my tooth was chipped.
Oh,
and
God.
Oh no!
I had a busted lip.
You're like,
You
just
tried, you
left.
tried playing it off, but it just
Yeah,
didn't
it
work.
just
You're like,
didn't
no,
work.
fine. What are you talking about? It's always been that way. I don't know.
Everything
What are you
was
talking
fine, but
about?
no, I had a chipped tooth and a busted lip. And they were like, what the fuck? What's
Oh
happened
my
to you?
God. I
It
love
was
that.
hilarious. We laughed so hard about that.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
Mm.
awesome. Tony, this has been so much fun. This has been so incredible.
Yeah, it's been great to get to know you for sure.
I cannot
Absolutely.
wait to
And we
meet you
can't
in
wait to meet
person.
you. Yeah.
We try to go down to Dallas 2, 3, 4 times a year.
Nice.
So
Nice. I can't wait
yes.
to you guys come to town.
Yeah.
Yes, me too. This has been so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing
Yeah.
your story.
Thanks for joining us, Tony. We
Thanks
really
for
appreciate
having
it.
me on.
Absolutely.
And thank you for your story. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right. Thank you.
See ya. If you love the podcast, which I know you do, please like, subscribe.
And hit that notification bell to get
Boom.
notified every time we post.
That's right. Dropping them, baby.